Sup guys, it's Alex here, and it is finally time. The 2019 NCAA Tournament Bracket Predictions video. Man, I have been waiting for this moment all year long, ever since last year. Man, this has been a great college basketball regular season. It's going to be an even better NCAA Tournament March Madness season. I've been doing all these bracketology videos for the past 3 months or whatever, and all your guys' support has been absolutely crazy. We've grown from almost, I think it was 1,300 whenever I started making the videos back in December, to now almost 3,100 subscribers. Thank you guys enough for all the support. And as always, I create the bracket on Brackify.com. If you are new to the channel, which most likely you probably are to this video, I go on Brackify.com, make an interactive bracket for you guys to go ahead and vote and share your own opinions and stuff like that, just like me right here. The link for this will be in the description, so make sure you go and check that out. Click that link, make your voices heard. And without any further ado, let's get into the predictions. So up first, we have the 1 seed Duke Blue Devils, number 1 overall seed, versus the play-in game winner NC Central and North Dakota State. Last year, my first ever game on the prediction video, we had Virginia versus UMBC. I said this was the easiest pick of the entire tournament. I said Virginia was going to win without a doubt. So, of course, UMBC goes and wins. So, I can't say that this year about Duke. Not going to say it's the easiest game ever, but I think Duke has probably about a 99% chance to win. I think they'll beat NC Central, who will probably beat North Dakota State. So then up next, we have the 8 seed VCU Rams against the 9 seed UCF. I want to say Knights. They'll have Taco Fall coming out of the American League. I think that UCF pulls off the 9/8 upset here. VCU lost to Rhode Island in their conference tournament. I like UCF winning that matchup there. Then my first upset prediction of the tournament video. I think that a lot of people will probably be agreeing with me on this one. I have the 12 seed Liberty Flames upsetting Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Mississippi State Bulldogs have at times kind of just looked uninterested in playing. They kind of look sluggish. I don't think that they deserve a 5 seed. I think it should have been more of like a 6 or a 7. And Liberty definitely impressed me against Lipscomb in their Atlantic Sun Conference Championship game. I like Liberty getting the dub there. Then Virginia Tech versus St. Louis. St. Louis came back as like a 6 seed or something like that in the A-10 tournament, won their conference championship today. They made it into the tournament, so congratulations to them. But my congratulations ends there. I like the Virginia Tech Hokies beating them. Then up next, we have Maryland versus the winner of Belmont and Temple. I'm so glad that the committee gave Belmont a chance. Me and JRed52, we were watching the Ohio Valley Conference Championship, and when they were playing Murray State, though they lost by 10, they really impressed me. They got a guy who's supposed to go in the second round of the draft, and like Dylan Windler. I think that they will beat Temple in the first round matchup, and then they'll upset Maryland. I like Belmont moving on. I think 3 out of the last 4 tournaments, the winner of a playing game has moved on to the second round and upset like the 6 or 5, whoever they get paired up with. I think they'll make it 4 out of 5 years in a row. I like Belmont upsetting Maryland. A lot of Maryland fans are probably going to get upset with me on that one. Then I like LSU beating Yale here. I think a lot of people actually pick Yale to win just because LSU will be missing their coach, Will Wade, for the tournament. And as we saw in the SEC tournament, they lost their first game of the tournament against Florida. They're a completely different team without Will Wade on the floor. I like LSU winning here, but I don't know if I'll be having them move on. Next up, we have Louisville and Minnesota. I like Louisville beating Richard Pitino right here. And then we'll have, once that goes, we'll have Michigan State beating Bradley to move on to the next region. In the West, we have Gonzaga beating the winner of Fairleigh Dickinson and Prairie View A&M. I think Prairie View A&M will probably win that. We were watching that game last night, too, where they won their conference championship over Texas Southern. But either way, Gonzaga is definitely going to beat them. Then we got Syracuse, I think, with Tyus Battle. They'll beat Baylor. Then Marquette and Murray State. This is my second, I think that will be the second best game of the entire tournament. We got Marcus Howard and Marquette versus Ja Morant, the projected third overall pick in the draft with Murray State. As much as I'd like to pick Murray State pulling off the upset here with Ja Morant, I think that Marcus Howard supporting cast is better than Murray State supporting cast. I like Marquette winning, though it pains me to say it. Being from Kentucky and having Murray State lose, I'd really like to see them win there, but I think Marquette will get the dub. Then I think that Florida State will beat Vermont. Florida State impressed me in their run through the ACC tournament. Then Buffalo, I think, will beat the winner of Arizona State and St. John's, which I think would be Arizona State. Then we have Texas Tech beating Northern Kentucky. Then up next, we have Nevada, who fell down to a 7 seed after being projected for like a 2 or 3 near the beginning of the season against Florida. I think Nevada's like 30-4, and then Florida's like 19-15. I like Nevada pulling off the victory there. Then we have, once that loads, we have Michigan beating Montana. Then up next, we got Virginia. I don't think that they'll lose in the first round again. I think they get the victory here over Gardner-Webb. Then up next, we have Ole Miss with Kermit Davis as their coach, first-year coach, SEC Coach of the Year, up against Oklahoma, who definitely should not be a 9 seed in my opinion. I think they should have been like a 10 or 11. I got Ole Miss winning that matchup. Then up next, we have Wisconsin versus Oregon. I can see an upset pick happening right here. I mean, Oregon did beat Washington by 20 in the Pac-12 championship game, but I like Ethan Happ and Wisconsin getting a victory here in the first round. Shout out to Isaac Mitchell. No reason at all, just a random shout out. Then we got Kansas State beating UC Irvine right here. Kansas State I don't know if they'll have Dean Wade or not. He's like questionable right now. If they have Dean Wade, I can definitely see them making a run. If they do not, more on that later. I think that they'll get upset probably in the next round. Then up next, we have Villanova and St. Mary's. St. Mary's will probably be a popular upset pick here since they beat Gonzaga in the championship game, but I like the defending national champions. I like Villanova there. Then we got Purdue beating Old Dominion. I'd love to see Old Dominion pull off the upset here. Be a nice story with their coach having prostate cancer, having them win, but I don't think that's going to happen. I like Purdue winning that matchup. And then we got Cincinnati beating Iowa. I don't think Iowa wins that game at all. I think Cincinnati's underseeded there. They should have been like a 5 or a 6. Then we got Tennessee beating Colgate. North Carolina, I think, will beat Iona. Utah State will beat Washington. Utah State won the Mountain West. Auburn, I think, will beat New Mexico State, though I bet that'll probably be a popular upset prediction right there. I like Auburn. They destroyed Tennessee in the SEC championship game. They are on a run. Then we got Kansas beating Northeastern. Iowa State beating Ohio State. I definitely think that this game will happen as I'm predicting. I honestly don't see Ohio State, but of course that means Ohio State's going to win, of course. But I like Iowa State there with Mario Shayok. Houston will beat Ron Hunter and South Dakota State. Then this game right here I think will be the game of the first round. Crazy game right here. I honestly have no clue who's going to win. I love both of these teams, but I'm going to go with Wofford. 7/10 here. I think they get the dub. Then Kentucky will be Abilene Christian. Then first spot in the Sweet 16, we got Duke over UCF. Then Liberty, I think their little Cinderella run's going to come to an end. I think Virginia Tech gets the dub there. And then we got LSU falling to the winner of Belmont and Temple, which I think, as I said earlier, will be Belmont. I think they move on to the Sweet 16 and get the victory there over LSU. Then Michigan State, I think, will beat Louisville. Then we have Gonzaga beating Tyus Battle and Syracuse. Marquette losing to Florida State. As much as I want to pick Marcus Howard to move forward here, I think Florida State gets the dub. And then we have Texas Tech beating Buffalo. I think Buffalo can pull off the upset here, but Texas Tech is one of the best defenses in the nation, if not the best defense in the nation. I like Texas Tech. And I think that Michigan will beat the Martin Twins and Jordan Caroline. I'm kind of going with all chalk on this side of the bracket. Got Michigan moving on. Virginia, I think, will beat Kermit Davis and Ole Miss. Then we have Wisconsin. This game completely comes down to whether Dean Wade plays or not. If Dean Wade plays, Kansas State gets a victory. If he does not play, Wisconsin gets a victory. Since he's questionable right now, I'm going to go with the safe assumption that he does not play since he missed the Big 12 tournament. So that means I'm going to have Ethan Happ and Wisconsin moving on right there. Though, if he does play, don't roast me in the comment section if Kansas State ends up winning there. I'm putting that little, I don't know what the word, contingency. There we go. I'm putting that contingency in there. Then I got an upset pick right here. I got the defending national champions in Villanova, Big East champions, upsetting the 3-seed Purdue Boilermakers, and then Tennessee will beat Cincinnati. Then we have North Carolina beating Utah State, though that'll be a pretty good matchup to see. Auburn, I think, will get the 5/4 upset over Kansas. Kansas just has not been the same without Azubike, and then they've had like 2 or 3 players leave throughout the course of the season, whether it be about suspension or just like, I think LaGerald Vick just left the team for personal reasons. Then I have another 6/3 upset prediction. I got Iowa State over Houston. And then I don't want Wofford to lose this early in the tournament, but I think Kentucky definitely gets the dub there. And then first spot in the Elite Eight, Duke and Virginia Tech. ACC matchup right here. I got Duke winning that matchup and just overpowering Virginia Tech. Though Virginia Tech did win against Duke during the regular season, but that was without Zion. I think Duke definitely gets the dub there. And then Belmont's little NCAA tournament run is going to come to an end right here at the hands of the Big Ten champions, Michigan State Spartans. Then I'm going to go with an upset pick right here. I got Florida State, the 4-seed, going over the 1-seed Gonzaga Bulldogs. This will probably not be a popular pick, but I think these two teams matched up in the tournament last year, and I think Gonzaga won. But either way, I'm going to go with the team with the hot hand right now in Florida State, upsetting the 1-seed. I'm sorry, Gonzaga, but I'm going to go with Florida State there. Then Michigan, I think, will get the victory here over the best defensive team in the nation in Texas Tech. This one will probably be a low-scoring affair, but I think Michigan will have enough firepower to get the victory. I mean, Texas Tech lost to West Virginia. And then for a spot in the Elite Eight, which I'll be in the Louisville Regional right here for the Sweet 16 and Elite Eight, We'll probably be vlogging. We'll see what happens with it. But Virginia and Wisconsin, I think Virginia, though they've been struggling in the NCAA tournament as of late, I think they get the victory there over Ethan Happ in Wisconsin. Then I think Tennessee will get the victory over Villanova. North Carolina, I think, will be Auburn, though that'll be... If Auburn can catch fire from 3, I think they win this game. But I think that North Carolina's talent will just overwhelm them there. I think North Carolina gets the victory. Then Kentucky, I think, will get the victory here. Chalk will hold over Iowa State and Mariel Shayok. Then for a spot in the Final Four, Duke and Michigan State. I definitely have Duke moving on there. I'd love to see Michigan State win. As a Kentucky fan, I don't like Duke, but I like Zion, and I think Zion's going to be the huge difference right there with R.J. Barrett in there too. I think Duke moves on to the Final Four, which sets up 4 versus 2 right here. Florida State and Michigan. I'm going to go with Florida State actually moving on here. I know a lot of people are going to be calling me an ACC fan right here with Florida State moving on as the 4 seed. But the bottom left regional had Michigan moving on last year. It could happen again this year. I wouldn't put it past Michigan to move on. But I like Florida State there. I think they've been doing enough over the course of the season. Then I'm going to go with the 2 seed in Tennessee upsetting Virginia right here. We all know how Virginia does in the NCAA tournament. And Tennessee has been impressing me over the course of the season. Though they did lose by 20 in the SEC championship game, Virginia didn't even make it to the semifinals of theirs. Actually, I don't know if they made it to the semifinals or not. I think they might have actually made it, but then lost. I don't know. Either way, Tennessee gets a victory there over Virginia. And then a rematch I think it was either the Champions Classic or the CBS Classic. North Carolina and Kentucky, 1 versus 2 seed. I like the Kentucky Wildcats beating North Carolina again. They showed that they can beat them at full strength earlier this season. And with Reed Travis back, I think Kentucky gets the victory here. So which sets up, on one side we got all ACC, and on the right side we got all SEC. Going to be interesting to see what happens there. Duke and Florida State. Duke beat Florida State in the SEC tournament last night. I think they get the victory again, which sets up Tennessee and Kentucky, both 2 seeds. They played twice this season. In the regular season, both teams destroyed each other on their home floor. Then in the SEC tournament, Tennessee beat Kentucky, but it's hard to beat a team 3 times over the course of a season. I like Kentucky getting the victory there over Tennessee, even though Florida State and Duke will be playing for the 3rd time this season, and Duke won for the 3rd time, but don't mind that. But I think Kentucky with Reed Travis, I think they get the victory there. Split it 2-2 over the course of the season with Tennessee, and move on to the national championship game, which sets up the very first game, the very first big game of the season, Duke versus Kentucky. 34-point blowout earlier with Duke winning that. I think that this game will not be even close to a 34-point blowout. As much as I want to pick Kentucky right there, my Big Blue Nation, I think that Duke's talent is going to overwhelm Kentucky. As much as I hate to pick Duke winning it all, especially as a #1 overall seed, I think they get the victory there. It'll probably be like a 4 or 5 point game. As much as I'd love to see Kentucky, and it pains me to say it, I have Duke as my national champion. So, there you have it. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Make sure you have those post notifications turned on for my specialty brackets and stuff like that. It'll be coming out later, and analysis and stuff like that. Leave a comment and your own predictions in the comment section below. I want to know what you guys think. Make sure you click the link in the description to go ahead and vote. And I will see you all later. Good luck, and I hope these tournament picks will be 100% correct.